Good morning, everybody. Check this thing out. We got the fire urn in place. We're gonna move it a little bit, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. 55 inches tall, 36 inches in diameter. This thing is a beast. Fire coming out the top, water 360 degrees. This adds a lot of interest to this side of the pond. All of our main attraction waterfalls are on that half, and you can see we got those buttoned up mostly. There's still a little bit of work that has to happen, a little bit more gravel, but we've got our main waterfall up top with our biological waterfall filter, the most dramatic waterfall. That's gonna pool up in here. You're gonna get most of the water to come over this waterfall into this pooling section. Some of that's gonna come this way to an even larger drop down into this pool, and then it'll be a more natural rapid style waterfall jetting into the pond. This pool on this side is kind of like a deep stream section. It's gonna swoosh around and come back this way, and we're gonna have a really cool, interesting waterfall into the pond right here. So there's a lot of action going on, and like I said, we still have to do another waterfall right here. This is gonna be our focus today, to get a waterfall on this side, get everything buttoned up, get that urn in place, get this thing ready to be plumbed up and edged and done.
How's it going, guys? We're just filling up the pond. It's looking gorgeous. We just finished the rest of the rocking. Tomorrow we'll get to edging, and then we'll have a finished product. It's delectable.
All right, we've got water going into the pond. It's a muddy mess right now. We still have to clean it out, but we're filling it up. It's gonna take overnight to fill it all the way to the top, but we're gonna get this thing running first thing in the morning so we can start doing all our edges. We've got our fire feature, the stack slate urn right there, that's running, and our little side profile waterfall. Those two things are operational. We'll have all the other waterfalls running tomorrow once we get here and this is totally filled up and we're able to start the pumps and start edging the pond. It's gonna be awesome. Mr. Bullfrog about to go to his new home. Check it out. Whoa. All right, guys, we're finally done. This project is a wrap. It looks incredible. I'm super proud of this one. You have to check it out. Look at this. There are so many aspects of this pond that I'm in love with. This started out as a small little semi-formal pond. It was bare liner. The waterfall was built out of this massive stacked slate wall with a spillway that fell out. Stream wrapped around, dumped to the bottom. They had that thing for a long time. They loved it. Their kids loved it. It served its purpose. But they built this brand new outdoor living room, which is currently still under construction. And they thought, you know what? If we're gonna have this amazing outdoor living space, we need to upgrade our pond. It's gotta fit our brand new outdoor living room. And that's what we did. We came in, we demoed that whole pond. We built this brand new one in its place, and they had big dreams, and we brought in big boulders and built a big, beautiful pond. So we repurposed a lot of the stacked slate that made the old semi-formal feature. There's a big retaining wall that holds up this berm that the pond is built into, right on the other side of those arborvitaes, and it's the same exact stone, stacked slate. So there's elements of all this outdoor living space tied together in the pond. Big mossy boulders, there's boulders in the landscaping around the house, stacked slate, retaining walls, stacked slate walls in the pond that go right up against the foundation of the outdoor living room. So you can see the trend here. We even used some of the stacked slate to build some sheet falls waterfalls for the waterfall. So there's a mix of boulders and stacked slate. There's color changing underwater LED lights. We've got wide angle lights in here as well as spotlights. It's got everything, guys. We're over here at the main waterfall section, and this place is super epic. We've got these massive mossy boulders framing off our waterfalls. This one in particular got a built-in frame rock on the spill stone. All these jagged edges are creating really cool fingers of water. It's a very natural waterfall that's supplied by a deep pool section that the birds are gonna love, aquatic plants are gonna love. We've got this awesome ruffle potato chip waterfall. It's a beautiful sheet. That's about a 4-inch drop. And like I was saying earlier, you don't need massive, massive waterfalls to make a big impact. A lot of times they look kind of weird and out of place. These little tiny waterfalls break things up and they just look incredible. You've got the main giant waterfall, the biggest waterfall of the bunch, coming out of our oversized biological waterfall filter. And that points directly at the living room. So when they're in there having a fire, watching college football, enjoying their weekend, they can look right over and see this waterfall. This one is also visible from the kitchen and the dining room and the living room windows of the house. Super awesome. And there's views from all different vantage points. You can see the side profile of this waterfall as well as this waterfall from inside the living room. You've got this view as well, but when you're sitting on this side of the pond, where they're going to be building a patio over there, you'll be able to see all these views with a totally different perspective. And we created a lot of little tiny details that really add up to make something wonderful. Like we've got all this stonework, all this concrete's gonna have that fieldstone veneer. So this is a very hard, harsh area. We wanted to make sure we broke that up, added some softness. So we left a plant pocket that can be landscaped to add a bunch of greenery and color to really soften up all the rock on this wall, as well as give a really cool shape to the pond. If you remember from the before pictures, this pond was a lot smaller, and everything over here where the waterfalls are now was a big drop off. It went down about 4 feet on a grade all the way down to the yard down below. So we had to build this whole entire area up. And to do that, we had to build that massive retaining wall, as well as the retaining wall that holds up the waterfall berm. We didn't want to cut off access to this half of the yard. We didn't want the homeowner and their guests to have to walk all the way down below the retaining wall and walk around. We wanted them to be able to explore this side of the pond, as well as have maintenance done to the arborvitaes, have the twinkle lights put on, anything that needs to happen over here. We wanted them to have a comfortable walking path. So we made sure to leave 3 to 4 foot wide space so they can traverse all along the pond. They can get over and access the fire urn if they need to, and they can come over here. They can even put a chair or two over here to have a completely different perspective of the waterfalls. It looks great from this angle as well. We put a step in here because there is a grade change, so we want them to be able to comfortably maneuver through here and prevent erosion. But you can see here is the original retaining wall that we had to build off of. This wall dove maybe 4 to 6 more feet this way into the yard. We ripped that section out and we started placing in these massive 3 to 4 foot tall boulders to create this grade change from down below, but make it natural. Big stable rocks, but keep the look natural. We didn't want to do another stacked slate wall like they already have. And then we came up another level to put these boulders in place to hold back the soil so we could get our elevation change for our beautiful waterfalls. And this path continues all the way around to the side yard. So now they can easily get from one part of the yard to the other without having to walk all the way around. And it's a really interesting journey along the way because they get to interact with the water feature. So I'm standing down on the original grade. This is where that hill sloped all the way down, and you can see how much fill we had to bring in to build this area up. And we dotted the landscape with these big massive boulders to help prevent erosion, build that natural retaining wall, but we also want to encourage them to do all sorts of landscaping in here to soften up the boulders and naturalize the hillside. Even though they're not down here looking at it, it's still a really cool part of the property, and we want this to be as beautiful as the rest of the feature. So we've got all these beautiful pockets filled with good soil so they can do all sorts of landscaping in there, as well as all these little nooks and crannies in the upper retaining wall portion for the waterfall berm where they can put succulents, some creeping thyme, all sorts of different plants can get tucked in those nooks and crannies to really bring that rock work to life and soften everything up. Right now I'm standing where the future patio area is going to go, and if you look from here, you can see you got a clear view of that fire urn, which brings that water feature closer to this sitting area. You got a really vertical element right there that just brings the water feature even closer, as well as beautiful views of all those waterfalls on the far side. Let's walk over here. I want to show you the inside of the future outdoor living room. This is an absolutely amazing space. It's really grand in here once you walk in. They've got these custom cut retractable screens that are going to be going in all of these big openings, all 3 of them. No matter what, they're going to have the sight and sound of water just pouring and filling into this room. You got all these beautiful views. Come on over here. I want you to look out into this cove. Check it out. The fish are swimming, but can you imagine just leaning over right here, feeding the fish? They'll draw right into this area, as well as the other one on that side. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you love this gorgeous pond. If you have any questions about the intricate parts or any questions about ponds at all, leave a comment down below or send us a message. Other than that, like, share, subscribe, do all those fun things, and I'm off to build more waterfalls, so we'll see you next time.